Okay, so people have called this guy everything: a racist, a genius, a prophet, even a fraud. But the real question is, how did a former pro wrestler become one of the most uncancelable stars in music today? All right, let's dive in and figure it out. I can't be canceled. I mean, that's a pretty bold claim, right? But that's the core belief of Tom MacDonald. He's an artist who's topped the charts by basically throwing the entire music industry playbook out the window, all while facing this constant push to get him silenced. So, to really get why he's so successful and so controversial, we've got to go back to the beginning. You see, his voice wasn't forged in some fancy studio. It was forged through some seriously brutal life lessons. Yeah, his story, it doesn't start with a microphone. It starts inside the rough and tumble, really unforgiving world of professional wrestling. So, picture this. MacDonald starts out as this wrestling prodigy. But his raw talent and, let's be honest, his pretty brash confidence, it made him a lot of enemies, fast. Backstage politics, a string of just devastating injuries, it completely shattered his career. And that sent him spiraling down this really dark path of addiction that ended in a full-blown, terrifying mental breakdown. He talks about this breakdown as the absolute worst night of his life. We're talking a panic attack so severe he was convinced he was dying. His heart was just pounding, the room was shifting, and when he looked in the mirror, he saw a total stranger. And the aftermath was, wow, a 9-month nightmare. He was just trapped by this severe anxiety. He ended up battling a Canadian healthcare system that he'd later call a complete joke, and he just couldn't get the help he so desperately needed. But you know what they say, rock bottom is a fantastic foundation to build on. And for Tom MacDonald, that foundation, well, it started in a pretty rundown apartment in Crenshaw. He was living in absolute poverty. I'm talking roaches in the cupboards, eating 99-cent meals, just struggling. And then one day, he hears this famous rapper complaining about how hard fame is, and something inside him just snapped. He wasn't just annoyed. He was, in his own words, deeply offended. And that frustration, it just ignited his creativity. He sat on his front porch with half a cigarette and wrote an entire song, right there in one sitting. It was basically an open letter taking the whole state of hip-hop to task. So he and his girlfriend Nova, they shoot a quick video. Then he has to swallow his pride and borrow just over $1,000 from his family. And with that money, he places a single bet on a single Facebook ad. And that one bet, it changed absolutely everything. Suddenly, almost overnight, he had an audience. And with this new platform, he wasn't just going to make music, oh no. He was going to start a culture war, saying all the things most artists were way too afraid to even touch. He completely stopped trying to be like other rappers and just started writing about what was actually on his mind. Mental health, suicide, politics. He basically decided to amplify those private conversations, the ones that happen in living rooms but never seem to make it out into the public square. The backlash was immediate, and it was brutal. I mean, here's a white artist criticizing a genre that's predominantly black, and he was immediately hit with this firestorm of labels: racist, sexist, homophobic, you name it. But here's the thing. Instead of backing down, he just leaned right into it. He started tackling all these super divisive issues head-on in his lyrics, which, of course, only made the controversy around him even bigger. So that's the big question, right? With the entire media and music establishment seemingly dead set against him, how in the world did he get so successful? Well, he knew the industry gatekeepers were never going to let him in the front door. So what did he do? He built his own door. He completely sidestepped the record labels by selling his music directly to his fans. And radio play? Forget about it. He used targeted social media ads instead. And get this, his whole team, the entire operation, is just 4 people. Him, his girlfriend, his sister, and his brother-in-law. That's how he keeps total 100% creative freedom. And the results of doing it his way? Well, they really speak for themselves. By just bypassing the system entirely, he's pulled off something pretty incredible. Over 60 #1 hits across various Billboard charts. That's a number that rivals some of the biggest superstars in the world. And this really gets to the heart of his whole philosophy. If the system won't give you a seat at the table, just build your own table. He truly believes that if you work hard enough, you can beat that institutional power every single time. You can forge your own path. So what do you think? Is Tom MacDonald a voice for people who feel forgotten? Or is he just a product of our super divided culture? His impossible journey from a broken wrestler to this uncancelable star, it doesn't just tell us a lot about him. It tells us a whole lot about ourselves.